Felix, and this is Good Morning Santa Paula. It's Wednesday, December 15th, and we've got a guest today who's involved with a very interesting nonprofit organization that serves Santa Paula, amongst other areas. And this is Maria-Felix Ryan. She is the Executive Director of PyPF, which I am using the initials because I can't pronounce it, like I said, as beautifully as she does. So good morning, Maria. How are you?
Hi, Peggy. Thank you for having me on your interview this morning. I do appreciate it, and we're doing really well. Thank you.
Good, good. Now tell us first the beautiful name of your organization, and then we'll talk about what you do and a special event you have coming up.
Perfect. Our organization is Promotoras y Promotores Foundation, and we are our main address is in Santa Paula on at 112 South Mill Street. So I'm really happy that we have our office right there in the middle of town.
Oh, absolutely, right close to Main Street. Yeah, you're on Mill?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Yes, okay. And what does your organization do?
We actually assist the Latino population with finding them mental health services. What may could be therapeutical, it could be joining one of our support groups, or talking on one-on-one with one of our mental health paraprofessional promotoras.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. Now, how many people do you serve? Number one, you established the organization in 2000, I believe, or I probably.
That's correct. Okay. That's correct.
We've been all about the background of it.
Yes, we actually started. They started the organization in 2000, and we have been involved with majority of the Latino population in Ventura County, and we've done different big projects. Covered California is one of those that we help people enroll in. You know, when the Health Reform Act came into place, we also did the H1N1 project, getting them the Latino populations vaccinated, and we also scheduled several flu clinics, so they could get vaccinated back then. And we also worked a lot with women's health. So we worked with the Well Woman program so that women can get their health screenings, both breast and cervical. Mm-hmm. So it's been, you know, ongoing. And then we were offered the opportunity to start a project in 2012 to help the Latino population with mental health, because there's always a stigma. Everybody says, oh, yo no estoy loco, yo no tengo nada malo, which is, you know, I'm not crazy, there's nothing wrong with me. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the population don't realize that, you know, they are depressed, they are stressed, that, you know, they do need some type of assistance, whether it's talking to somebody or, you know, just getting therapeutical services, and realizing that, you know, being on medication is not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely not. Yes. Now, are you usually approached for this by a family member, or do people come on their own? How do you let people know you're there, just for starters?
Our motto is we come to the community doesn't come to us, because we have realized that our population, our, you know, our culture, you know, we have to be there, and our presence has to be wherever they are.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. So we actually go to the laundromats, we go in front of the grocery stores, we go to churches, we go to different places. So the people get used to seeing us, and we talk to them on a one-on-one, even at the bus stop. Mm-hmm. One of the promotoras at one point was just standing there. She realized that this young lady next to her seemed a little bit sad, just her body language, and she started talking to her and realized that, you know, the person needed some assistance. And this particular young lady ended up coming to our support group, and we realized, you know, that she was, you know, feeling like she didn't want to be here, you know, And the promotora was able to get her into services. So it just, depends upon where.
So in other words, just by virtue of the woman who was at the bus stop with her, had heard of you or interacted with your organization, they were able to refer her.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, and that's what we do. Most people now, because we've been doing this since 2012, they realize who we are, and we get people referred to us, and it's really wonderful that the promotoras are so open to different hours. We're not a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 5. We help these persons, once they knock on our door or they call us. It doesn't matter what time it is. I personally have gotten a call, like at 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night because somebody needs some help. And so it's like, okay, I'm awake.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Because you do sometimes.
It is touchy. I mean, and you're absolutely right. Sometimes people, they don't want to admit they might be having some sort of a mental health need, or they just are in complete denial, and some start to even just get used to it. So,
Yes, because
how many people have you treated, do you believe, at this point in time, or helped, I should say? How many people do you believe you've helped?
I actually went ahead and did a quick count. Now, these are the people that we have touched in one way or another. Over the years, we've had like about 680 people that we have outreach to. And out of that, I would say maybe a third have been referred to actual therapeutic services, because remember, not everybody needs them.
Right.
But, they have somebody that they can talk to. And that's the important part. So we've helped them with, especially with COVID coming along. During the pandemic year, the real last year, we actually helped 104 people because several of those people had relatives that had passed away. So they needed somebody to talk to, even in one way or another through a phone call. And it's really interesting because it does help to teach them how to breathe, which helps release stress.
Absolutely. Very good point. Yes.
As just as simple as that, having them on the phone, bringing down their anxiety level, it just works just wonderfully, because what we need is to have that person have a little bit clearer mind, so they're, we're able to listen to them, and they're able to communicate with us. Because if you have a person that's really high strung and their thoughts are all over the place. So we have learned that, we can get them to do at least 5 minutes of exercise. We can actually have a much better conversation with them.
Okay, interesting. Now, when you say exercise, are you talking about like maybe breathing exercises, or just
both?
Exercise both? Okay. Now, you were talking also, now you have what kind of staff or resources do you have as far as at your core facility?
We actually have our support groups that we have that we conduct on Mondays, Wednesdays, and we actually have a social Friday also, which has is starting to grow a lot more. We opened our office in August. But before that, we were at different venues. So we're at the Fillmore Adult Activity Center, Un Paso a la Vez. We were even at the clinic, at the Santa Paula Clinic, before we opened our office. And people are welcome. Just walk in. And one of the beautiful parts about the program is that we don't turn people away. If they need to come in and be listened to, we do. And it's all confidential. We comply with what we call, our HIPAA rules and guidelines. And everybody that participates, they keep it within, and they don't go, once they leave that room, there's no gossip. You don't hear anything about, so-and-so's problems or anybody else's, but it stays within the group. And even when we do one-on-one, the promotoras are sometimes asked, because some people don't want to come into the support group. They don't feel comfortable. But they're able to talk on a one-on-one basis.
Mhm.
And then at some point, the persons actually do ask to move on to therapeutical services. And that's where we end up calling Ventura County Behavioral Health through their Logrando Bienestar program, through RICE, through STAR. Or if they don't qualify for those programs, we actually try and find other organizations that can help with, with getting them services.
And and it's so actually about a third of the people that seek you out have to have more treatment or a higher level of treatment, while approximately 2/3 just need somebody to talk to, and which they very, as we all know, it's very hard for people to talk to family members or talk to friends, and it's a lot easier to talk to someone who's a stranger, essentially, to begin with, and discuss your issues. So that's wonderful, because that I'm sure prevents them from becoming part of that other 1/3 that needs actual hands-on type of more advanced therapies, as it were.
That's true. And one of the things that we have been doing is we do a warm handoff.
Mm-hmm.
So once the person says they're ready, then we call our contacts at these different places and say, hey, can we set up an appointment? We want to walk the person in because the person feels much more comfortable. Sometimes the person will say, no, don't go away, stay with me through the interview process, and then it makes it much better for them because they know that there's somebody